In Leave the World Behind, two families are caught in the opening stages of a massive societal shift. Technology goes dark, transportation fails, and the social contract starts to crumble. In the end, the only ones prepared for the fallout were the insiders who were warned in advance. The movie provided a cinematic look at what global instability looks like as it's unfolding. And looking at the headlines today in 2026, those scenes are starting to feel a whole lot different. Today, we're decoding Leave the World Behind to see exactly what the movie may have gotten right. Leave the World Behind follows the Sanford family, who chooses the worst day possible for a weekend getaway. At the beach, they witness the first sign of the collapse, a massive oil tanker crashing onto the shore, sending the crowd into a frenzy. The chaos escalates that night when two strangers show up at their door, claiming to be the owners of the vacation home they're staying at. Once they're let in, the TV flickers to life with a strange emergency notification on every channel. By morning, phones flood with alerts of a massive hacker attack, followed by nothing but corrupted encrypted text. A brief moment of radio reception reveals the scale of the disaster, a cyber attack causing catastrophic environmental effects across the South. Suddenly, strange flyers fall from the sky, printed in a foreign language to spread total confusion. The family then attempts to escape using the freeway, but they find the expressway jammed with a pileup of brand new self-driving Teslas. At this point, the social contract has completely shattered. Networks are down, planes are falling from the sky, and everyone is in complete and total panic. Then comes the final reveal. This isn't a random disaster. It's a synchronized 3-stage campaign, a strategy designed to force a total breakdown of social order, leading directly to a civil war.
There's one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple 3-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. The first stage was isolation, disable their communication and transportation, make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage. Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation, overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. Done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own.
What's the third stage?
The film ends with the Sanford's youngest daughter finding a fully stocked bunker and using it to finally watch the series finale of Friends. While this just seems like another apocalypse movie, in reality, Leave the World Behind provides a blueprint for how a catastrophic event unfolds in a society that is completely dependent on technology. This isn't the kind of conflict we see in history books. A modern war wouldn't look anything like previous times. Recent headlines from this week make this movie feel less like fiction and more like a prophecy. As the news unfolds, we are seeing the same style of attacks happening in real time. The unknown attack happened in 3 stages. Stage 1 is isolation. This involves taking out the country's communication and transportation. We see this in the movie when the oil tanker crashes and the GPS and cellular networks go dark. In 2026, we're seeing this exact isolation play out, with the recent disruptions to major data centers and the physical strikes on infrastructures that have left entire regions in the dark. Stage 2 is synchronized chaos. This is about overwhelming the public with misinformation and terror. In the movie, they use the high-pitched noise and the foreign flyers falling from the sky to keep people confused and afraid. Looking at the headlines today, the rise of deepfakes and the conflicting reports on current global tensions are creating that exact same sense of chaos where no one knows what to believe. Stage 3 is civil war. Once the people are isolated and the chaos has reached a boiling point, the social contract completely shatters. Without a clear leader or a way to communicate, the country turns on itself. This is the final result of the blueprint, a nation that collapsed from within because it was never prepared for the collapse of their digital infrastructure. When you look at the architecture of the collapse in the film, it's not just random chaos, it's a calculated removal of society's foundation. In Leave the World Behind, the first thing to go is the GPS and the cellular network, effectively blinding the population. We see this mirrored in the headlines this very week with the physical drone strikes on major data centers overseas. Then we have to talk about the strange noise. In the movie, it is a piercing high-pitched frequency that physically breaks the characters down. We see them getting nauseous, and in one of the most disturbing scenes, we see one of the characters' teeth literally falling out of their head. While these advanced weapons were seen as science fiction once upon a time, in 2026, that is no longer the case. That noise seems to be a direct reference to directed energy weapons, which has recently transitioned from science fiction to confirmed reality. When the characters hear the sound, they immediately recognize it's something synthetic. They know it is a weaponized frequency. In 2026, we have seen the reports and the declassified data on sonic wave technology. It is a silent, invisible attack that leaves no fingerprints but causes total psychological collapse. By including this in the blueprint, the film is showing us that the stage 2 is not just about making you confused, it's about making you physically unable to function. When you cannot think, when you cannot stand, and when you're watching your own body fail you for no visible reason, you're in a state of total vulnerability. Besides just analyzing this film through a surface level understanding, we need to look at the deeper, much more spiritual angle, starting with the oil tanker named the White Lion. In biblical prophecy, specifically the book of Revelation, the color white is the signature of the first horseman of the apocalypse. This horseman is often interpreted as a symbol of conquest, arriving under the guise of peace just before total destruction is unleashed. In Revelation 5:5, Jesus is referred to as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and he is the one opening the seals for the horsemen. In the film, this ship acts as a spiritual warning. It grounds itself directly on a beach to signal that the change is coming. It is a physical manifestation of the spiritual warning, a biblical announcement that the world as they knew it has been conquered and a new world is emerging. Another nod at the spiritual mechanics behind this collapse is the behavior of the animals. Throughout the film, we see deer and flamingos acting in ways that defy their natural instincts, becoming the first to sense a global shift before anyone knows what has taken place. I believe this represents a fundamental divide. While modern society has lost its connection to the spiritual realm, these animals remain tethered to it, sensing the coming storm long before the digital grid fails. It is a symbolic warning. When humanity abandons its spiritual roots, they become blind to the reality right in front of them. Specifically, the scene where the deer become aggressive are a direct reference to the fourth seal. This biblical prophecy gives authority to death and Hades to wipe out a quarter of the Earth's population, partly through the use of wild beasts. This spiritual context completely explains their radical behavior towards the end of the film. Another spiritual reference is the homeowner's admission about his insider buddies. He tells the Sanford family they were briefed with information the general public never received.
Turns to me, a serious face, and he says, "Oh, just my annual meeting with the rest of the evil cabal that runs the world. My friend calls me up. No scheduled appointment like he usually does, just calls me out of the blue. He wants me to move around some of his money. And we're talking some big numbers even for him. And as we're getting off the phone, I ask if he wants to grab a drink. He tells me he's going away for a while. I joke back to him, "Oh yeah, you hang with your evil cabal this weekend? That was only during the winter solstice." Then he doesn't laugh. Then he always laughs, even with bad jokes. All he said was, "Take care of yourself." Almost as if he felt sorry for me. Conspiracy theory about shouting people around the world is far too lazy of an explanation, especially when the truth is much scarier. No one is in control.
These insiders represent the small percentage who moved their assets and secured their families before the breakdown commenced. Those who believe they can outrun a coming judgment by hiding. This is a direct nod to Revelation 6:15. This verse describes a time when the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, and the mighty hide themselves in caves amongst the rocks of the mountains. They are attempting to hide from the very disasters their own decisions help create. But as the Bible makes clear, and as the homeowner finally admits, wealth and connections only make you a first-class passenger on a sinking ship. The film shows us that the elites weren't interested in saving the world, they only wanted to save their own interests, leaving the rest of humanity to fight over the scraps of a dying reality. Watching the current 2026 trend of high net worth individuals moving into self-sustaining luxury bunkers, you have to ask yourself, is art imitating life, or are we watching the manual unfold in real time? The most disturbing part of the film isn't the planes falling from the sky, it's the ending. While the world is literally burning and a civil war is unfolding outside, the youngest daughter finds a bunker and chooses to watch the series finale of Friends. This is the ultimate commentary on where we are today. Even on the verge of a massive societal collapse, we cannot stop distracting ourselves. Just as many choose to stay blind in our current society, the daughter ignores everything unfolding around her. Whether it is the release of declassified documents or conflicts that demand immediate attention, people would rather consume their time on TikTok and obsess over celebrities than face the truth. They have become so addicted to the digital distraction that they would choose a comfortable lie over waking up. When she chooses Friends over saving her family or taking the situation seriously, she is showing just how far the masses have fallen. It is the final sign of the decay, a population so entertained they don't even realize they are in the middle of the end. The most controversial aspect of this film isn't just the plot, it is the names attached to the project. Higher Ground Productions, the company founded by Barack and Michelle Obama, was behind the project from the start. This film was released nearly 3 years ago, yet it feels like a play-by-play for the events we are witnessing in 2026. Director Sam Esmail confirmed that the former president personally reviewed the script, providing notes on how a real crisis of this magnitude would possibly look. When a film is executive produced by individuals who have held the highest security clearance in the country, the fiction takes on a much darker tone. It moves away from being just another movie to a possible inside look of how the worst possible outcome could unfold. In my opinion, this film provides a rare look at the logistics of a societal breakdown. It was a study on the fragility of our modern infrastructure, an infrastructure that is currently being tested in our real world. The real question the film leaves us with is whether we're going to stay mesmerized by the screen or if we're going to pay attention to the signs right in front of us. The truth is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who are willing to look past the noise to uncover it. If you're interested in uncovering the truth about our world, make sure to watch this video on the movie that completely exposed Hollywood right now. And if you like unfiltered content that reveals the truth, make sure to like this video and subscribe to join the truth movement. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.